Welcome back for more Steam Deck coverage. Not long ago, Halo fans have been able to rejoice with Valve's handheld. The Master Chief Collection, which was very difficult to get running properly on the deck because of easy anti-cheat, has been updated and patched to include official Steam Deck support with a no anti-cheat mode, letting people not only play the campaigns on the go, but access online multiplayer without having to install Windows. So let's dive in and see how well the Steam Deck can handle Halo the Master Chief Collection. First, launch options. You now have two ways to play this collection, normally and with anti-cheat disabled. Not only does the disabled anti-cheat let you do multiplayer, but I found better performance in the campaigns as well. It's also worth going in and setting the compatibility to Proton Experimental. Some of the newer Proton variants can work, but they won't get as good performance and will have a significantly longer startup time. Now that that's out of the way, let's go into the performance for each title, because with this collection, performance has always varied between games. It starts out a little rough with Halo 1 and 2 and gets progressively better the further you get in the series, which kinda makes sense considering the anniversary remasters of Halos 1 and 2 did release after 3, 4, and Reach. Also, you're going to want to go into graphical settings and use the performance preset for pretty much all of these games. They still look good and we want to get that frame rate as high as possible. Now let's start with the numbered titles and get the anniversary editions out of the way. With Halo 1 Anniversary, performance depends on location. When you're doing internal area missions, you're going to get a great FPS right up at 60 with some small variation here and there. But when you get to more open areas, a lot of big drops happen. The example I've always used for testing is the beach battle of the Silent Cartographer mission. The moment you hit the beach, the frame rate drops down to the 30s and occasionally up in the 40s. It'll stay like this pretty much the entire mission in these outdoor locations. Granted, 30 FPS and above is great, but Halo fans want 60. And that's where the genius of these remasters came in. When 343 made the anniversary versions of 1 and 2, they added a little toggle where you hit the select button and seamlessly transition between the original and remastered graphics. So during all of these lower FPS areas, you can just hit select to change the textures back to the OG Xbox and the frame rate will shoot up to 60. You'll still have small drops down to about 58 happen from time to time, but it'll be a significantly smoother experience. Moving on to Halo 2 Anniversary, we get much worse performance and more reliance on that graphical toggle. Most missions in this game will be around the 30s and very often drop into the mid to high 20s, creating a non-smooth experience even if you go by 30 FPS standards. So Halo 2 pretty much needs to be run on original graphics for the entire game. And with that in mind, you will get that near constant 60 FPS from start to finish with small dips around 57 from time to time, and it will look better than Halo 1 on original graphics, but still. On the bright side though, with those two games out of the way, no more frame rate issues with this collection. All 4 of the other campaigns are buttery smooth. Dive into any area of Halo 3 and you're gonna get a constant 60 frames per second. I don't think I even saw Halo 3 drop under 60 outside of pausing and going through menus. Halo 3 ODST is pretty much the same thing. You'll get occasional drops down to like 58, 57, but it'll mostly stay right up there at 60. Now Halo 4 is really the only exception here. It doesn't drop down to really bad levels, but some areas of Halo 4 will drop down into the 40s to 50s range. But if you drop resolution scale down to about 80%, 60 FPS all the time. Even in Halo Reach, with the squad NPCs following you around, we'll still get 58 to 60 FPS from start to finish. All of these other games run incredibly well on the deck and PC in general. And that's the campaign. How's multiplayer? Great. I ran a few Halo 3 matches and never saw the frames drop under 60 even with a semi-crowded King of the Hill base. I even went into some Halo 2 Anniversary matches to see if we get the same drops as campaign, and we don't. All my matches there have been a constant 60 without any drops. But that's not to say there aren't any issues here, because there are a few little things here and there. When it comes to the campaigns, a few missions in 4 and Reach can freeze up and crash, but only sometimes. During the Mammoth segment of 4, as soon as enemies come into view, I've had a few attempts at the mission immediately tank to single digits and freeze up, requiring a restart. Same with a couple areas of Reach. Most of the time, you can go through these areas with no issue, but there are occasional times where you'll be fighting and everything will just randomly freeze up, causing you to close the game on Steam and relaunch it. Now, I wouldn't really call these issues widespread. Across 5 to 6 hours of playing these games, I had it happen twice. And with multiplayer, I do get fairly frequent errors on the main menu of losing server info and connection to the Xbox service, making it so you can only do custom-only U matches in multiplayer until you close and reopen the game. Granted, all of these are really just inconveniences. Close the game and restart and everything is good. But it's worth noting that they do happen. And then we get to battery life, which isn't too bad at all. On high brightness, you're going to get about 3 hours out of a charge with the Master Chief Collection, and on low brightness, you're going to get about 3.5 hours. Now, to close things out, would I recommend the Master Chief Collection to Steam Deck users now that it's been patched to allow for online multiplayer? I'd say a solid yes. It is unfortunate that Halo 1 and 2 almost require the original graphic toggle to get a stable 60 FPS and the weird server and occasional freezing bugs, but these games are plenty playable, and the other 4 campaigns run beautifully, as does the multiplayer. If you're willing to deal with those occasional little things happening here and there, this is a great collection of first-person shooters. And that's all I got for you today. I'll be back soon with more Steam Deck coverage and reviews. As always, thank you for watching, and have a great day.